After the fall of the Roman Empire, aka the Snyderverse, we finally have a new DC universe in film form, thanks to James Gunn and probably a shitload of other people that I don't know the names of. But I do know one name, and that's David Cornsweet, who is our brand new Superman, filling in for the 12-year gap of Superman films since Man of Steel, which has been a damn eternity almost. We've got a new Superman, and he's actually colorful. He's actually smiling. He's saving people instead of destroying an entire city, basically, just to stop one man. One superpowered man, but he's also superpowered, so I don't see much of an excuse there. And he's got a bunch of friends, but more importantly, he's just kind of doing his own thing half the time. Superman is James Gunn's first entry in the DCU. Creature Commandos kind of counts as the first one, but not everyone saw that, so this is the big premiere of this universe. And I think it's a pretty good first impression. I'm not gonna say this is a perfect movie, because it's not, but I also don't have a ton of criticism to give, because I'm not a seasoned film critic. But I'm also just gonna say that I had a fun time watching this movie. I wasn't too skeptical about it, but I wasn't gonna say that this is gonna be the greatest thing ever. But it was pretty good. James Gunn knows how to make a movie, so I'm glad he didn't disappoint me here, and I'm also glad the actors didn't disappoint me. David Cornsweet knocks it out of this park as Superman. He brings the different layers of both Clark Kent and Superman, being both emotional, being a kind soul who is saving people, and just being a cool guy, and also occasionally angry, but not the Zack Snyder level of mostly just being angry while also occasionally brooding. But this video isn't for just shitting on the Zack Snyder verse, because it's not. It's about praising the beginning of new things, and that is a new universe with many possibilities. Possibilities I do hope get fulfilled, because there's a lot of promise here. That and a ton of movie and show announcements, because James Gunn just had to give it all to you. Hopefully it turns out pretty well. I do want to see how a Supergirl movie works out, or an eventual Wonder Woman movie. That hasn't been announced yet, but it's probably a given. And then, of course, Batman. Because Batman. The music hits pretty hard. It's mainly kind of a reuse of John Williams' Superman theme with some remixes here and there. But that's not to shit on the composer's work, because I'm sure he had to still work with quite a bit. Unlike Guardians of the Galaxy, there's not a lot of songs in this movie. There's a couple. One really weird song that plays at Lex Luthor's government base or some shit. And then a quote, fake song made for the movie based on a punk rock band Clark Kent likes, which is kind of fun. And that was pretty much it. Again, colorful movie. Knows how to bring in the color. And then visual effects are good. They're not always gonna look perfect. Not everything's gonna look realistic. So I don't entirely mind when the movie does look a little cartoony, but I've seen worse, and I've also seen worse when it comes to stuff that's trying to be more realistic. And then in terms of like the real like hope and emotion that Superman movie should bring, it really does bring it, and I think that is one of the reasons James Gunn does kind of work for this sort of thing, because he can make an emotional and wholesome type of movie and not just a bunch of crass jokes and action scenes and violence, but he's still pretty good at that. So I'm glad that element of Superman wasn't lost, and I think overall this is a Superman movie. It's not going to replace the Christopher Reeve movie or anything else Superman related, but it's a pretty good new Superman story for a new generation. So I think already that's a win in my book. So I'm going to give Superman 2025 a 9 out of 10. I feel like it's pretty solid rating to give a movie like this. Again, there's not a lot of flaws to really bring it down for me. Despite that, I still think the next set of movies should at least, be on the same level or even, impress me more. But that's something to see for another time. Hope you enjoyed the review. Stay tuned for more. See you guys next time. Take care and go watch Superman.